So good afternoon. So now we have a session on the SAP managing SAP extension on BTP with SAP Cloud ALM. So we also want to show you the potential of DevOps with SAP Cloud ALM. So my name is Xavier Dupera. I'm product owner for API analytics and integration at SAP Cloud ALM. Today I will present with my friend and colleague Andrea Campo. So we will share the stage. So what I will do, I will start doing some explanation on how to implement DevOps principle with SAP Cloud ALM. And then after, Andrea will do a live demo trying to build a complete flow of development that will explain you and show you how to all the other tools are going together to make this DevOps possible with SAP Cloud ALM on SAP BTP. Okay? Good. So, what we are going to do today is we will show you how to implement the DevOps principle with SAP Cloud ALM on SAP BTP. Maybe you will tell me why doing this, why changing the way I'm working. Maybe you are already doing DevOps principle and following those principles. So, personally, I think they are very, very interesting if you develop custom application on SAP BTP, because this is actually, Wieland explained that yesterday during the keynote. So we are a daily delivery organization in SAP Cloud ALM. So we follow all DevOps principles, which I think the most important are the following, is that we include in our delivery routine in our daily work. So it means that we have DevOps developer looking every morning if the delivery is okay. And the goal of this is to reduce the risk and also have a better code quality. And this is achieved, and Wieland explained this, I think, very well, because we have a pipeline of automatic testing. So every time a developer push a change for SAP Cloud ALM, there is an automatic checks, and the code cannot reach the next level, going to dev, to quality, or pre-prod and prod, without a zero failure on our test. Otherwise, the code is rejected. So, and I think those principles could be applied to every development on SAP BTP, thanks to SAP Cloud ALM, SAP CI/CD, SAP Continuous Integration and Delivery Services, to the Cloud Transport Management System, and the SAP Cloud ALM Test Management. So what I'm going to do now in the 5-10 minutes, I will go over the loop, going from the planning to the operation, going through the coding, the building, the test, the release, and the deployment. And for each stage of the DevOps loop, infinite loop, I will show you the tools that you can use that are available to you in our stack. Okay, so it will be always a combination of SAP CI/CD, SAP Cloud Transport Management System, and all the components of SAP Cloud ALM. And then, after my presentation, Andrea will run this again in this landscape. I hope we can make it on time. So let's start with the planning phase. So it starts in SAP Cloud ALM with building user story, requirement, and subtasks. So this is the project management part in SAP Cloud ALM. And it's the user story or the requirement, they are linked to features. So feature in SAP Cloud ALM are the vehicle to transport the changes. So this is how you orchestrate your changes in SAP Cloud ALM, is using features. So there is an application in SAP Cloud ALM called Feature Management that you use to release and deploy your changes. Important also is that we have also APIs that you can connect third-party task management application, Jira, or others, to achieve the same behavior. So if you want to manage if you want to plan a development, you need a task, a user story, then you can do it also in Jira if you want, or in ServiceNow if you want to. Okay. In SAP Cloud ALM, we have a very strong task management tool. So we have also this board where you can manage your sprint. You can move your task from the different status, so you can follow your development, like I think you will find also in Jira. But this is actually something that we have also in SAP Cloud ALM, to plan your development. When the planning is done, so you have assigned the task to your developer, now you move to the next phase, which is based on the CI/CD. So CI/CD is a service on SAP BTP. It's part also of the Golden Pass, and it's really easy to set up and to register on your SAP BTP sub-account. So in the end, you link your setup, your CI/CD services in the BTP to your Git repository. So your code for your custom app, your Fiori app, is in your GitHub, and you link this GitHub to the SAP CI/CD. So this is how you can manage integration pipeline in SAP BTP. Of course, you could use other alternatives to this SAP CI/CD service. You can use any CI/CD pipeline integration tool that you have on the market. Jenkins, for example, would work also. Okay. I don't know where to sit to not preventing somebody to see the screen. So the SAP CI/CD service I think it's not known from what I've seen, but it's quite powerful, easy to set up. In a few minutes you can have it. So it comes with templates for a predefined project. So it comes with, if you want to build a Fiori application, you have templates for the pipeline, templates for the security checks, then you can change, modify your templates. So it's an accelerator in your SAP BTP to build your integration pipeline. To implement a continuous integration and continuous delivery process. So this is how to activate the CI/CD on your SAP environment. I mean, you can also, actually, as soon as you have subscribed to the service, you need to give your credential, add your repository. This is where you link the SAP CI/CD service to your code, to the GitHub. Then you have to create the jobs that will be executed to run the pipeline, the build job or the test job, and basically that's it. Configure the pipeline, and the pipeline is there, ready to be executed. In the end, a pipeline is just a simple job that is waiting to be executed, right? So this is the part for the CI/CD. Then you have to build your application. So there I will not talk a lot on this. So you need a development application environment. Where in SAP BTP you have two choices. You can go for a pro-code environment or low-code environment. So the SAP build application is also a platform that we deliver in SAP BTP, where you can develop your own application. Last year at the summit, we also demonstrated this. We were building a low-code application, but we have connected to SAP Cloud ALM. So it was a requirement management application built on SAP Build App, connected to SAP Cloud ALM. It's up to you to decide where you want to do that, which tool you want to use. Okay, the build part or the develop part is your choice. Again, in all this infinite loop, you can decide to replace one of the tools that I'm presenting by a non-SAP tool. But the goal is really that there I'm doing the full loop with only SAP build tool. So the SAP Business Application Studio, I think, is a really nice tool to develop. You connect it to your Git repository, but you can also, there is many alternatives also to do that. The most important thing is that you push and commit or fetch your changes from your repository. So how does it work? As a developer, I can connect through my development environment that will be connected to my Git repository. So I can fetch the code, push and merge. When I'm ready, I can trigger the continuous integration delivery pipeline. And depending on the result, either I'm able to have something to change because the tests were failing, or I can decide to go to the next steps, so release the changes that we have done to the transport management system. So this is the build process, how to organize this. Testing, the next part. Okay, so again, this could be achieved with SAP Cloud ALM, with the test management tool. We have integration with Tricentis, test automation. This could also be integrated in the pipeline of your CI/CD environment. So it means that you can develop an automatic test case, some test cases, from SAP Cloud ALM in Tricentis test automation. I think there are many sessions on test management, so it's not new, but it's there. And you have the usage right to start with it, okay, with some limitations which are known, but it's there. So when you subscribe to SAP Cloud ALM, you get also a Tricentis test automation subscription, and you can start developing your automatic test case in Tricentis. And those tests, they could be linked then in your CI/CD pipeline. Okay? So once you have done your testing, it should be automatic testing. Then you move to the next part, which is the deliver. And this is achieved with the Cloud Transport Management, so CTMS, Cloud Transport Management System. This is also a service in SAP BTP that lets you, that is actually a transport management system that will move your code, your artifacts that has been built, that are the result of your CI/CD pipeline. Cloud Transport Management System will move that to the pre-production or the production. Okay, so this is how you move your code successfully tested to the next stage. And SAP Cloud ALM, in that case, act with the feature management, is an orchestrator on top of the Cloud Transport Management System. So actually, SAP Cloud ALM doesn't do the transport itself, but it will trigger the transport in the Cloud Transport Management System. And same thing, when you subscribe to SAP Cloud ALM, you have also a Cloud Transport Management System subscription that you can use, but you can also connect your SAP Cloud ALM to another SAP Cloud Transport Management System if you have already one. So it's a service that you can get from SAP BTP. So from now, we have SAP Cloud ALM at the platform orchestrating everything, and we have two services, the SAP CI/CD service and the Cloud Transport Management System. So Cloud Transport Management System will move the code to pre-prod and production. So it means that in the development landscape, in the dev, this one is managed by the DevOps team. So it's single change from the developers. And when it moves to the prod or the pre-prod, then we move to another model. Then we have rules to transport, and which are actually driven by the Transport Management System and SAP Cloud ALM. So this explains also the difference between SAP Cloud ALM as the change management layer and the transport management layer managed by the CTMS, Cloud Transport Management System. Okay. There in this picture you find all the different tools starting from the SAP Business App Studio where you code your changes and you move it to the prod and pre-production, production with our tooling. Very important also, so it goes a little bit beyond our scope of SAP BTP, but if you want to synchronize or if you have development that needs to be synchronized between your Fiori application and your ABAP stack, then Cloud ALM could do the job. So it will sync the transport between SAP BTP and your data center. Okay? So this is organized through SAP Cloud ALM. Again, then on the SAP BTP, we have the Cloud Transport Management System. On the ABAP stack, you will have the CTS system. Okay? So then we go to the features. So features, again, are the vehicle to transport the changes. Okay, so it will the layer that will do the orchestration of all the changes. So those are and again, the features will contain a list of transport, and Andrea will show that in a minute. So you will have to create features, assign the transport to the features. And those are the schema of the status which belongs to features. So this is how you can control and you put a governance mechanism on top of your changes. You control the feature, where are they? And now we have also the possibility to link features with an external workflow management system. This is something I showed this morning, and Xavier will show it also in the next session in Heidelberg room, where we have linked, okay, another room. You have to follow Xavier, where we show actually how to integrate an approval management system to the requirement management. So okay. And then we are the last part of the loop. So we have deployed to the production, then we move to the operation. Operation is done by SAP Cloud ALM, the run part. So SAP Cloud ALM should be connected to your production environment, and from there you can operate with the tools that we have in the run part, the operation part of SAP Cloud ALM. So health monitoring, real user monitoring, synthetic user monitoring, all of the tool there. So there you have the complete loop. Then your code is in production and you can operate it. Good. Another thing is that we have in the production, we could have also services. The picture is done. Like the cloud logging service. So we have link between SAP Cloud ALM operation and the SAP Cloud Logging Service. So if the SAP Cloud Logging Service is activated also in a tenant, then you have more information about the operation, and those information could be found also in the tools of SAP Cloud ALM. So last part from my side is those are all the tools, components that you have in operation in SAP Cloud ALM. So it goes from business process monitoring, integration and monitoring, synthetic erasure monitoring, job automation monitoring, CSA, configuration security analysis, health monitoring. So those monitoring use cases, they are in SAP Cloud ALM, and they will help you to ensure that the code that you have deployed runs without any failures, and and you can ensure business continuity in your environment. So this is what I wanted to show. Then I would like to hand over to Andrea. He will be able to demonstrate the loop.
Okay, does this work? Yeah.
Can I have a quick question, Miss? No, actually, you can't. So you can. We will have approval for the features, and the approval could be linked to an external system. Yes, but we will have. Yeah. No, we will provide APIs but an external system could control the approval of the features. Like we will show it for the requirements in the next session. So for the feature, we don't have it yet, but the goal is that we have the same. We are not going to provide an approval management system. So it's a kind of white space, I would say, for our partners. No, it could be, for us, we're agnostic. We don't, we just provide open API, but an external system could link and approve or reject a feature request. No.
I can start. Yes, I hope you can hear me. So what we're going to do, it will be the complete process from the development to hopefully, if we are in time, the deployment in production. Okay, and we will do exactly what is described here. Okay, so automated process for the development and release in the development landscape, and then manual confirmation using SAP Cloud ALM and transport management. Okay, so what we did, we prepared a very simple application in our landscape. So this is just a web page. Okay, it looks like that, and it shows some text. What we want to do, we want to modify this text. This is a very simple application, and so in order to do that, we need to do some changes, push the changes using all the tools that we discussed. Okay, so first of all, this is the GitHub repository that is used. So it's a public GitHub repository that is configured with the CI/CD service. Okay, so I will show you everything step by step. Okay, so this is actually our current page. Okay, this is compressed in this content zip file that is deployed directly on the system. So what we are going to do here, we need to make this better, and we will start directly from SAP Cloud ALM creating a feature. Okay, so first step, we will go to the features, and we will create a feature for this. Okay, so we will click here on create feature. So ALM demo better page. Okay, let's do this. Please make this better. Okay, so we can document different things. Of course, we can assign user stories, projects, different kind of references. But here, for the sake of the time, we will be short. Okay, so we save and close, and each feature has its own status flow. Actually, this is the flow that you can find also in the helpsap.com. Okay, so we start actually here from the implementation. So what we can do in the future, we can modify the status just by clicking here. So we start the implementation. Okay, we change the status, and now the status changes. So the different status and the different follow-up status, they depend on the previous status. In some cases, we can go back and so on. So what we can do, we can just go to the code. We can just copy. Okay, our file, we have a new HTML file, and then we are going to compress it to generate this new zip content. Okay, so typically what you would do, you would create a separate branch. You would do the changes in the release branch. In this case, we can do this, but for the sake of brevity, we will push directly in the main branch. Now, the project, the GitHub project behind this has a special configuration here if we go in the settings, you will see that there is a webhook, okay? And this is related to the configuration of the CI/CD service, which means when we do something here, like pushing to a specific branch, in this case the main branch, this will trigger a specific job in the CI/CD service. Let's have a look at this CI/CD service, actually. So here I will show you also our environment. We have different sub-accounts, okay, dev, pre-prod, and prod. And then this is used simply to host the CI/CD service and the CTMS service. And this is a SAP Cloud ALM tenant, okay. So if we go here, actually, I already have the CI/CD service. Let me restart the session, okay. So here we have configured the different things, several jobs, actually. So for each job, we have different repositories, and here we are talking about this Hello World project, okay? So here we can configure different stages to define what is going to happen when the webhook is triggered. So we push to the main branch or to any other branch that is configured. This will trigger the job, and it will do several things, like building and so on. Okay, let me do this so that we can advance a little bit. So here I'm going to simply stage the changes, and then I will put new main page. Okay, ALM Summit 2024. We're going to commit and then sync to the remote repository. This step now will trigger the CI/CD job, okay? So you see here this little symbol here, it means that the job is running, so it already took into account the webhook. And what you can do, you can access the build, so you can go through all the stages and follow all the logs, okay? So just to describe a little bit the different stages that we have, we will skip most of them, okay? Of course, we can't skip the build step, okay? Here we will use the MTA build tool. We can define any kind of static code checks that we need. Additional commands that needs to be run before the stage. So you will see here, we will get the OS release version of the Kubernetes pod that is used to execute this job here. And then again, we have additional possibilities like using additional unit tests, doing some antivirus scan, doing some acceptance tests. Maybe we want to pre-deploy the application somewhere before going to the development system. Okay, we can run some compliance checks as well. We're going to skip this, but we are not going to skip the release. This part here, deploy to Cloud Foundry space, means at the end of the build, if everything is successful, what's going to happen is that this change will be directly pushed to the BTP development environment. And this is what I was saying before. This will be typically fully automated. So you change, you trigger in CI/CD something, and this is deployed directly on the development system, okay? And finally, we also integrated the process with Cloud Transport Management, another service available, so it's separate from continuous integration and delivery, but we can use it to manage the landscape that we have defined and to transport the transport requests from one system to the other one. So I said that we have different, the possibility to follow up what is happening in the build, right? So if I click here, we will see that the init process completed, 49 seconds. We can access the full logs, okay? And we can follow up here in the logs in case we have issues. So we will let this build, okay? And you can see here that we have this this command that is executed before the stage phase. Okay, so here we have this the Debian Linux is used in this environment. Okay, so we will wait a little bit for this to finish. It should take around 5 minutes. Let's see, but you will see there will be a lot of steps that will be skipped in the end, and we will go through the final deploy. At the end, when this build will be finished, the result will be our application. It's deployed on the development system, and a transport request is added to the queue of the pre-prod BTP sub-account. Okay, so again here, this is building. The outcome of this, of the CI/CD job, will be the development here, and then the transport request will be included here in the pre-prod sub-account. We can check this. Let's see what is this transport management system. Okay, in the meantime, you see that it's actually skipped these stages, and it's actually in the release phase. Okay, so we can follow up here. This is what's actually happening on the background. So let's see. This is CI/CD. Let's see a little bit the cloud transport management. Again, this is a service like CI/CD. Okay, so in this case, we have dedicated this sub-account to these two services. You can have everything in one sub-account. It doesn't matter. So let's go here in the cloud transport management, and let's see what we can do with this tool. Actually, what you can do, you can create destinations connected to your development, pre-prod and prod sub-account, and create your own landscape with all the necessary routes. Okay. So here you can see this BTP dev. It represents our dev sub-account, same for pre-prod and prod. And here you can see the transport requests that are imported or in the different status, okay? Initial, running, succeeded, and so on and so on. Okay? So let's go on the CI/CD and let's see what is the status. Now, this is completed. So if we refresh here, we will see that the build is completed. If you notice here, this is the commit the latest commit that we pushed. Okay, so if we go here, this will be actually this E8BC. It's the latest commit that was pushed to the main branch. Okay. This is important to understand also what is going to happen later. So now what we can do, we can simply go again in the dev sub-account and we can see the result, because as I said, here this Hello World application should have been deployed on the dev sub-account. We can see how it looks like. Now it's a little bit different, okay? But of course, this is not yet deployed on pre-prod and prod, okay? So let's go to our feature again. So what we can do now, we know that a specific transport request has been created and added to the queue of the pre-prod sub-account in our cloud transport management. We can see this because if we go in the transport management application, I can click on the pre-prod and I can access the queue here. And you see we have this new main page, ALM Summit 2024, and we also have the commit, so we can easily identify the request. This is added to the queue, is not automatically imported in the pre-prod system. This is managed by the feature, so, and by SAP Cloud ALM. Which means that I can go here, actually, and, I can assign a transport request here, okay? And you see, given that SAP Cloud ALM instance is connected, there is a destination actually that is connected with a CTMS sub-account. It can retrieve the list of transport requests available, namely this one, E8BC. It's the one that we just used now. And I'm going to assign this transport request to the feature. You could assign multiple transport requests, also requests from, I don't know, on different systems, different technologies, and so on. So we save, and now that we have in this, we are in this status, actually, what we can do from SAP Cloud ALM, we can directly deploy and trigger the deploy, so the deployment manager can trigger the deploy to the pre-prod system directly from here. So if we click on deploy, this will change the status of the request directly in the Cloud Transport Management. And actually, this is actually the main feature here. We can control and manage centrally by different approvals, different roles. Where you can specify people that are authorized to release to the test environment, to the production environment, and so on. But this is manual confirmation from SAP Cloud ALM. Okay. So here, let's go back and let's see what's happening now in Cloud Transport Management. Because here, if we go back in our landscape visualization, we see that there is one transport request which is in status running. Okay? If we go here, we can also filter, actually, here. This is currently running, and we can get information about what is going on during the deployment. We can see the content of the request. We can get additional information on the single transport requests and their status, and so on and so on. And also transport action logs, so you can see what is going to happen in each system. And here you can notice something interesting, that while we are running the import on the pre-prod, so we are importing to this node, this is the outcome of the deployment action from the feature. At the same time, because of the configuration of the landscape, we have an add queue entry for prod, which means now that if we go in the productive system, in the queue of the productive system, we will see that there is a new main page, ALM Summit 2024. This is the same commit that we used at the beginning, status initial, because it's not imported automatically. Okay? We can also access the overview. And actually now running it's 0, which means that actually the transport request has been imported in the pre-prod system. As you can see here, running 0. And this is also reflected in the feature, because now, if I'm going to refresh from here, you will see that the status is deployed in BTP pre-prod. Okay? So at this stage, we can actually test. We can hand over to test. Okay? We know that this is deployed in the test system. We can access actually the test application, hello world. This has been deployed a few minutes ago. We can go here and we see this is the same version as the development system. Okay, so now that we have successfully tested, we verify that everything is okay, we can confirm the successful test, and only then we can deploy in production, because if we try to do this now, we will get this error saying that we have to confirm the successful test before proceeding. So we go here, we need to approve for production, and once this is done, we can hit here on deploy and click here on deploy, and this will be deployed in production. Please notice that right now, depending on the configuration, we could even trigger these manually from the cloud transport management, okay? But typically, this is not done. What we want to do typically is to manage everything from SAP Cloud ALM, so we can configure the landscape to avoid this type of thing. I think this will work, okay? So now we triggered the import directly from here, but in any case, even if we started the import from here, you will see that in the feature, if we refresh, the status will reflect what is currently happening in the background. So there is a continuous synchronization between SAP Cloud ALM and the list of transport and the landscape that is connected via CTMS. Okay, so we will wait a little bit. So, and while we wait for this to be deployed, again we can check what is happening here from the SAP Cloud Transport Management, or we can just manage the feature from here. We can also have an overview, access this overview that gives us an idea of how many transport requests are running in the past n days, the storage available, and so on and so on. And from the features point of view, while this is loading, actually, there is also, we have also analytics available, okay? So you can use this to trace, to get an idea about the feature traceability and have an idea of which feature has been deployed, in which status it is, and which system reached, okay? So you can see here that there are few features that we tested in the past few days, and for example, this one is ready for production. Okay, it's not deployed in production, but you can always access all the information, and you can correctly identify each transport request. Okay, so let's see. This shouldn't take much longer. Let's go back to the cloud transport management, and let's see if this will take a little bit more. If we go again on the transport action logs, you see, and this is another thing, while the transport request was imported to BTP pre-prod, you see the user is this special user here. This identifies the fact that the deployment was triggered directly from SAP Cloud ALM. While here, I imported this directly from CTMS, so I'm identified as the importer to this specific node. But here now, it looks like that everything has been imported, so we can go in prod, let's say. We can check the outcome. Here we have our Hello World application. You see this has been deployed, yes, 2 minutes ago. And if we go here, we will see the page. And finally, if we go in the feature, let me go again. I think I lost it. Okay, we go in the features. ALM demo feature. Which one is it? I think yes, this one. Demo do a better page. Let's see. Yes, this is deployed now in production, and I can confirm the deployment. As soon as I do this, the status will change to deployed, and this will be added to the list of features that are in status deployed, and it will be taken into account in the analytics as well. And with this, I completed my demo. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So this is what we wanted to share with you. So I think we have time for questions, if you have any. You should get a mic.
Can you make sure you hold it very close?
Okay. Just a question related to, do you need to always manually connect the transport to the feature, or can that be done automatically?
Today, I think it's only manual, but the connection. You have to select the transport from the UI, yes. Yeah.
This means that the developer can actually start the development before it has been assigned to the feature.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely, yes.
Yeah. So, no, but that's the situation. Yes. And
Is that the same with the ABAP transports? If you're going to do some backend development, or do you create the transport from the feature first? Okay.
Sorry? Yes. In ABAP, yes. Mm.
Thank you for the session today.
Thank you.
I have a question, and that goes like, can we have custom statuses anyway in the future? And I'll tell you where this question is coming from. So for the customers that have a 4-tier landscape, your statuses are strictly tied to, from being pre-prod to prod, right? But for the people who have a 4-tier landscape, it is something doesn't fit in. So that's why, will we see can we customize the statuses and have our own, just like in SIT or in UAT kind of a stuff, likewise we do, is there something like this planned?
No, today this is not planned, not to my best knowledge. So I know there are requirements to have some customization, but the message there is, as far as I know, is that we cannot provide the full customization, full flexibility for the status.
Okay.
But I've seen, I would say, project or thinking around adding some level of customization, but not the full customization. This is not going to be possible in SAP Cloud ALM.
Okay, then in that case, then we say that a 4-tier landscape is not suitable for deployments through ALM.
Today, I don't think so, but
yeah. And one more question, right? So when we say extensions, so it will be mostly based on Node.js or Java, right? And as we know, it's an open source Node.js, and it's also having its own libraries and updates that it goes on. And coming back to the CI checks and the CI capabilities of GitLab right now, and I see there is a lot of security reporting also and security stuff that we need to do, like gymnasium scanning for the dependency scan and a software bill of materials and a lot of security checks even before releasing it to production, because there are a lot of open source libraries that we might be using, and it's a security vulnerability kind of sometimes. And I also show a dashboard or analytics where we are just displaying some of the results from the deployment. So are there any plans to bring in, because the CI is you can only check in the logs if the build or any status has failed. But is there anything also for a plan for the ALM stuff where we can have a dashboard where, okay, this application it failed, or these are the security dependencies or whatnot?
No, I don't think so. But again, if you want to, you can use the customer influence program also to enter such requests. I think this would be the best place to go with that.
And we won't see GitLab CI/CD's integration with ALM in any time in future, is it?
Maybe I can answer to that. So the CI/CD part, it's mainly used. I mean, you have a pipeline to do all the static code checks or all the necessary checks to prepare a package that is suitable for being imported in the quality system. So if you don't, you can configure it first using the predefined stages, which are configurable to some extent. You can also use it to be integrated with your own pipeline, Piper, and so on. So it's very flexible. But the idea is that the development team it's preparing something that it's checked, controlled, and you go through all the necessary stages before deploying this in the quality system. So all the static code checks and all the compliance stuff should be solved before going to the quality system. And that's why the CTMS you know, it's mainly used to manage then the import in the actually in the pre-prod and prod, also with the help of SAP Cloud ALM, right? You can also configure it to deploy to every system in the landscape, but this is the main use case. It's exactly what you see here. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.